Hi guys, how are you guys doing today? So this is a very quick, a very timely confirmation for someone. Okay, so you may have prayed about this, you may have asked God about this, but I want you to remember the book of Esther. Okay, the other day I had a conversation with a young lady, and I remember telling this young lady that it's always best for God to advocate for you when it comes to your partner. As in, when you are not chasing anybody, as in, let's just say that you see someone and you're like, hey, that could be my husband. And God may have told you, yes, that's your husband, or yes, that's your wife. But in this particular case, I don't know if it's pertaining to a wife or a husband. I just know what God said. Okay. I'm going to tell you what God said after. Let me just tell you something. So I told this young lady the other day that when you see someone and you think that could be a person or God confirms that's your person, right? It's so important to try not to convince that person that you're the one. And the reason being is because God is supposed to let that person know that you are the one. You don't have to go to them and prove to them, like, hey, I'm your husband, or hey, I'm your wife. Like, God is going to talk to that person. Okay, and God is going to let that person know that you are the one. Revelations hit people differently when God is the one that is giving them these revelations. See, if you tell someone something, they may not think it's true, or they may not feel anything in the spirit pertaining to it, or they may think that you're trying to convince them. But when God gives a revelation to your partner and shows your partner, like, yes, this is your husband, or yes, this is your wife, and this is the person that I have for you, and God shows the person a dream or a vision of a prophecy of you guys together, whether it be you guys walking down the aisle, whether it be you guys having your first child, whether it be you guys buying your first home, whether it be you guys running your business together. When God starts to show prophecies and he visually shows somebody a prophecy about you guys, especially if it's a male. Men are very visual, okay? So if God is showing a man visually in the spirit, you guys being together and you guys getting married and you guys having a life together, the next day that man sees you at work, he ain't gonna see you the same. He's not gonna see you with the same eyes that he saw you with before. Before, he saw you with physical eyes and he may not have thought nothing about it. But as soon as God shows this man you in the spirit, and he shows this man, okay, this is your person, this is the life you guys are gonna have together, and that person and that man knows that you are indeed approved by God to be with him, that man is not going to see you the same. The next day, he's going to see you with totally different eyes. He's going to see you with spiritual eyes. And that also means that he is going to feel differently about you, and he's going to love you even more. He may not have even known. Even if he didn't know if he loved you before, he will love you. Do you get what I'm saying? So when God shows us revelations, it hits differently versus when someone tries to tell us or someone tries to prove something to us. Okay. The example I gave her was pertaining to a house. I said, imagine you went apartment hunting. You went to see a couple apartments, and the first one you saw, you're like, I kind of like it, but I don't know. The second one I saw is way better. It looks way better. I like it. It's so me. And then God shows you later on in the spirit, in a vision, he shows you the first apartment, and he shows you your whole life in that apartment. He shows you having your first business in that apartment. He shows you sleeping comfortably in that apartment. He shows how you're going to decorate it, how nice it looks. Not only that, how nice it spiritually feels. How nice it feels in the spirit. As in, he is showing you in that apartment, and he is letting you feel the peace that you've been longing for, and you're like, wow. Then he's showing you the other apartment, and he's showing you that you're not going to be peaceful. He's showing you you're going to be stressed out. He's showing things falling apart and things breaking in that apartment. The next day, when you go apartment hunting, you're seeing the first apartment that you thought was, you're seeing that in a totally different view now. You're seeing that like, wow, that's the best thing I'll ever have. I'm going to go get apartment A and not apartment B. You see apartment A differently now. Now, don't take this out of context and look at it like someone seeing you like they don't like you and then all of a sudden they like you. No, what I'm using that example to show you guys how we may see things from a different perspective than how God intends for us to see it. And we may not actually receive the full revelation until we take it to God and we allow God to help us with our decisions, and we allow God to show us the revelations as to why the decision that he has for us is better, and is better than what we could even imagine, because God's ways are not our ways. And when God shows you why he picked something for you, or he chose someone for you, and you see the life that you're going to have with this person, you're going to see the person differently. So you may go to work one day and see the person one way, and then the next day you go to work, you see the person in a completely different view. You don't see them no longer from the fleshly point of view. Now you're seeing them from your spiritual eyes. You're seeing a spiritual side of them. Now your feelings are a lot more deeper and more powerful for them, and you didn't even know that you loved them. Now you go to work. Now when you go to work, or you go wherever you go to church, or wherever you go to see that person, you feel differently about them. Now you're like, wow, I went from not really knowing if that was my person to being madly in love with that person. And this literally happened so quickly. That's because God had a role to play in it. That's because God revealed to you the revelation, and God revealed something to you spiritually, to where now you can see things from a spiritual point of view rather than a physical point of view. Right? And that's why some of you guys, I tell you guys, when it comes to kingdom marriages, you got to be patient, because just because someone does not see you in that way in the beginning does not mean that God is not going to show them. And that does not mean they won't love you eventually. Okay? Because sometimes it takes a revelation for someone to understand how much they truly love you. It takes for someone to feel the Holy Spirit within you for them to realize how much you mean to them. You see what I mean? So in other words, I gave this young lady this example the other day. And this morning I heard the Lord say, you are the one. After he said, you are the one, I heard, will you marry me? And I knew right away that it had something to do with the examples that I explained to this young lady the other day. And I had to use this example to show you guys how just because somebody may not be ready for you or interested in you in that moment, it does not mean that they cannot love you later on. Sometimes it takes for God to prophetically reveal things to people for them to realize how important it is, and for them to actually receive the revelation. Okay? Revelations is what changes our perspective of things, our point of view on things, and it allows us to see things more beyond just the flesh. Okay? It allows us to see things from a spiritual point of view. Somebody has made their mind up about you, and they have realized that you are indeed the one for them. Okay? So I want to say congratulations. See, Esther, when Esther went to meet with the king, right? Esther didn't beg for the king to see her. Esther didn't try to get the king's attention. Esther did not tell the king, I'm the one. God told me I'm the one for you. No, what happened was the king received a revelation about Esther. And that's what made the king see Esther differently from how he saw all the other women. Okay? I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.